Hey everyone, Ryan here from 7-Figure Staffing. Today I'm going to share something that might surprise you. How I landed a placement within 24 hours of a single cold call, and why some of the best recruiters I know still swear by the phone. Plus, I'll give you my 5 rules for phone call awesomeness that have helped me and my clients build 7-figure agencies. And I know what you're thinking, Ryan, it's 2025. Nobody answers the phone anymore. Well, stick with me because I'm about to show you how that's exactly why the phone is your secret weapon. Let me take you back to my early days at a boutique agency in Toronto. We had no LinkedIn automation. We had no fancy CRM, just like a phone and a dream. And I learned from a $1 million biller named Greg, who taught me something that absolutely shocked me when I later moved to one of the biggest agencies in the world. Now, in the last few videos, we've been in this whirlwind of software and automation, and while all that stuff is incredibly useful, I want to let you in on a little secret. You don't actually need any of it to be successful in this business. So let me take you back to when I first started in staffing and recruiting, what I like to call the olden days. And back then, we didn't have any of these fancy tools. You know what? Some of the most successful recruiters I've ever met built their entire businesses without them. Don't get me wrong, the tech, the automation, all that stuff helps tremendously, but they're not substitutes for good old-fashioned marketing and sales strategies. In fact, you can still be incredibly successful with just recruiting and staffing 101, getting back to the basics. If you really want to build a massively successful business machine with unlimited potential, here's the approach I recommend. Get your new school stuff set up, your web presence, your tech platforms, your automation, get it all working efficiently in the background. Then, while that's running and generating automated leads, you get old school. Now, when I say old school, I mean anything that resembles the pre-tech revolution in staffing and recruiting. So let me paint you a picture. My first agency job was at a boutique firm in Midtown Toronto. When I started there, we had exactly 4 things. We had the mail, the phone, email, a database of people, and that's it. There was no LinkedIn. It barely even existed. In fact, people at my firm had just started creating LinkedIn profiles when I got there. But here's what made this place special. It had some of the best recruiters I've ever met to this day. I was fortunate enough to be mentored by a consistent $1 million biller. I sat about 10 feet from his desk and I acted like a sponge, soaking up everything that he would do and say. And you know what? It worked incredibly quickly. I became a top performer in no time. And the moment I realized what I had learned at this firm was incredibly special was when I left and I went to the biggest agency in the world. And I remember thinking, man, if I learned this much at this small little firm, imagine what I'm going to learn at the biggest agency in the world. It's just going to be mind-blowing. But here's what shocked me. Nobody at that big firm knew anything about what I had learned from Greg and the other top people at the boutique firm. They didn't know any of this stuff. It honestly felt like graduating from a PhD program and going back to high school. And I mean that in more ways than one. These people at that big firm wouldn't even start working until like 11 a.m. Before that, it was basically a social club with people just like hanging around each other's desks. Let me break down how we structured our day at the boutique firm. As soon as you got in, you did 1.5 to 2 hours of business development phone calls, cold calls, and follow-ups. Didn't matter if we already had a lot of business. Didn't matter if we had tons of recruiting to do because there were so many orders on the board. Nobody was excused from that morning prospecting. And by 11:30, you'd check your voicemail, respond to emails, handle some callbacks. Then at 1 p.m., you'd switch over to recruiting, interviewing, and presenting candidates to clients or account managers. And before you left for the day, you had to build and submit your list of 50 plus candidates and 50 plus prospects that you'd be calling the next day. In short, this job was mostly about the phone. We were on it pretty much all day. When we weren't weren't on the phone. We were in an interview room talking to candidates. Greg's phone was ringing constantly, and I mean absolutely all day long. He always had a call coming in. His phone never stopped. And they had been doing it this way for 25 years before I got there, and they're still doing it the same way today, very successfully. Now, here's the thing. Does your business have to be pounding the phone day after day, all day, every day? No, but it's not a bad place to start. And at the very least, it's a good idea to not be afraid to pick up the phone when you need to. If I were to do it all again, my approach would be relentless multi-channel lead generation, following up with the phone, and supplementing with cold calling. But it also largely depends on your niche. Some niches are more suited to phone work than others. That said, I can confidently say that the phone isn't going to hurt you, regardless of what niche you're in. So don't use the excuse that cold calling doesn't work in my niche to avoid getting on the phone. Let me share with you what I love about phone call marketing. First off, you can get traction much faster than with other forms of marketing. I've had situations where I called into a cold prospect one day and made a placement the very next day. Obviously, this wouldn't happen in every niche, but I've seen it happen, and I don't believe that would be possible over email. Phone calls can speed things up. Even if it's not a cold call and you've acquired a lead through other means, strategic phone calls are going to help move things along, usually in the right direction. We can often get to the right person quicker. A lot of times when we're guessing at who the right contact is, we're actually off base. But getting just anyone on the phone within an organization can help us clarify who the actual decision maker is, who the best point of contact is, and gather other valuable intel. You also get immediate feedback. Calls allow you to gauge reactions in real time, helping you adjust your approach based on tone, questions, or objections. And this instant feedback loop helps refine your pitch and understand client pain points better. Over my years in this business, I've developed what I call Ryan's 5 rules for phone call awesomeness. First rule, no scripts, just talking points. So instead of scripts, I found it works best to just get right to the point of why you called. The point of the call is the reason for your call. So get to that reason as quickly as possible with everyone you speak with and simply ask if they can help. Rule number 2, have reasons. Okay, we don't call the prospect simply because we want to know if they have business for us, at least not on the surface. That's a very self-serving purpose and it's not going to resonate with anyone. Instead, make it about others, not about yourself. Your reason is something that's in it for them. It's something that they would want. Rule 3 is to be yourself. I remember my first BD calls where I would experiment with different personas. I tried being nice, I tried being cool, funny, authoritative, professional, smart, you name it, but I found that I had the most success when I didn't try to be anything and instead just called up with good reasons for calling. Rule 4, be direct, to the point, and respectful of time. Don't be that person that someone could be afraid of getting stuck on the phone with. Always make it clear that you're respecting the prospect's time with your actions, your method of communication, and your ability to use effective brevity. And rule 5, have questions and curiosities. While you're respecting time, you're also there for your purpose and your mission. And your mission is to get one step closer to getting a new client. To get there, you need information about 3 key areas: pain, process, and price. So let me share with you my exact pitch. It goes like this. Hey there, wondering if you can help me. The reason for my call is I happen to have whatever you have, 10 minutes from your door who has this very specific specialization that you seem to need. My job is to help this person find the next step in their career, and I want to explore if this may be a good fit for you. Who is the best person to speak with about that? Then when you get to the right person, you can say, hey there, name. I was guided to speak to you, and the reason for my call is, and you repeat the pitch again. Notice the beauty of this approach. You don't need to do a lot of fancy or time-consuming legwork before you call people up. In fact, you can hear me make these cold calls in Section 3 of $1 Million Agency where I stop the tape and explain my rationale for each thing I say on the phone. All I'm doing is calling up companies off of Google Maps. There was virtually no prep work done at all. Their phone numbers are right there on Google Maps. You can just zoom in on an area, punch in your keywords, and start dialing. Before I wrap up, let me share one last tip. Did you know you can buy numbers for any locality and call right from Vault? So Vault is a CRM created by 7-Figure Staffing. All you got to do is you just go to settings, then phone numbers, register for A2P, and you can add numbers for just over $1 per number. You can call right from the green button at the top or set up a power dialer if you want to do a call campaign. That's it for today's video, everyone. If you found this helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, do all that YouTube-y stuff. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Drop a comment below with your favorite cold calling tip or success story, and I'll see you in the next one.